Okay, y'all, I was on my way up to check out this new nail salon that I heard was over there by the Walmart, by the Rainbow store. And I was like, well, let me stop and see what the traffic is looking like over here since I was up here the other day. And so when I did, I bumped into this lady. And let me just say, ma'am, if you see this video, I apologize. I was just passionate and a little tongue-tied and a little nervous too. So this was trying to stop you from going into the nail salon. I feel like I might have just ambushed you. So I'm sorry to you, lady. But this is what happened, y'all. Is anybody in that nail shop? Is it customers in there? How many? About 3? That's 3 too many. We on an Asian business boycott. That means food and everything. Yeah, because when they killed that boy Cyrus, that little 14-year-old black boy, yeah, the Asians came out and started talking junk about how we need them in our community. They said, who you gonna buy your liquor from? Oh no, man, we doing an Asian boycott, man. Don't go in there. We boycotting Asian businesses. We got a black nail salon right across the street. Walk in is welcome. We're not supporting them no more, sister. I'm trying to tell you. You do what you... No, I'm just trying to inform you. I'm not trying to tell you. As I'm trying to inform you, there really is a Asian boycott going on in the black community. A lot of people aren't on social media, which is where it originated, because that's where the insult started. There was an Asian little boy there was a black little boy that got shot. His name was Cyrus. He was 14 years old, and he went inside of an Asian convenience store. They thought he stole a bottle of water, and he shot him. And so the conviction, he got away with it. The trial was last week. After that, a lot of people in the Asian community that own businesses came out and started talking about how we don't need them. If we boycott them, that it's not going to mean anything to them because we need them. They're so embedded in our community. Where you going to get your liquor from? Where you going to get your nails done? Where you going to get your eyelashes? Where you going to buy your weave hair at? This is what it says. So we are supporting intentionally black-owned businesses. Now, if you would let me allow, I'm sorry, I'm just passionate. I was trying to just get your attention. Right across the street, the golden nail, the gold nail, it's a black-owned walk-in salon across the street, and it's called the Gold Luxury Nail Bar, and it's right next door to the Planet Fitness. The owner is KK, and they do beautiful service. It's another black-owned hair store that's right there in Fairburn, and it's another one over there in it's a lot of them in Jonesboro. You just have to look intentionally. That's all I'm trying to say. Just be intentional, because we can't keep spending our money with them. We're trying to rebuild our own wealth and invest in ourselves right now. And so I'm just trying to spread the word. I just happen to be riding past. Okay, so I just want to, it's called the Luxury Nail Bar. No, we have to, listen. That man said something horrible. He said we don't need them. He said we need them. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not, listen, for years we've been going through this, okay? For years, they know. The black community is what feeds them, clothes them, gives them the opportunity to drive these nice cars and stuff. Nobody was listening. We wasn't even saying nothing about it. But y'all killed one of our children. No, it was in South Carolina. Happened 3 years ago. Just be aware, okay? All right.
Nail salons empty. Y'all are showing out. Now, if you recall, he's the one that told us that we couldn't survive without any Asian-owned, stores in our community, and told us if we did a boycott, he would take away the laundry mats, right? They would not have laundry mats for us, as if we don't own washers and dryers in 2026. Now, some of you actually seem to be surprised at that Asian community, some of them anyway, that are really thinking that we're ignorant and too ignorant to have our own. Guys, don't forget about 2023. Do y'all remember in 2023 when they ended affirmative action? And that was in part to the Asian community. They let themselves be pushed to end affirmative action against the blacks. And people always say against the blacks as if we're the only community and we're the #1 community to benefit from affirmative action. We weren't, but that's a discussion for another day. So in case you didn't know, the Asian American Coalition for Education, along with 60 other Asian American groups, got together and filed several civil rights law complaints against Harvard, okay? And they supported students for fair admissions. Now, if students for fair admissions sound familiar, that's because they are the ones who filed these lawsuits that went to the Supreme Court. President and fellows of Harvard College, and also against University of North Carolina. They combined the two. They said that they felt it was so unjust they were expected to perform higher to get into Ivy League colleges. And that's not the case for everyone, i.e. black people. They decided to do it in groups so that no one could pick out a specific Asian American to target. But the fact that there were 60 different groups along with the Asian American Coalition for Education speaks volumes. Now, once affirmative action ended, do you think there was a big surge of acceptance into Ivy League colleges for Asian Americans? No poochie pies. According to the Manhattan Institute, there was a 2% increase across the board of Asian Americans being accepted into Ivy League schools. However, there was a decline in Blacks and Hispanic enrollment. Like other communities, Asian communities seem to forget that they benefit from all the hard work that the Black community has done. And that's okay if you forget. We don't have to remind you because, baby, we just keep doing what we do, which is us. So I'm proud of all you guys standing in solidarity because they're basically calling us stupid as hell, and we're not. Leave me a comment. Bye, y'all. Bye.
Now, before I got interrupted, my goal was to come over here because I know they did not open a daggone Asian nail salon in the midst of a Black business burst. Here we go. They did open it. They outside. Let me see. Ain't nobody in there. Ooh, ain't nobody in there. It's nice though. Ain't nobody in there. All that money they spent for.
This is why when y'all say Black people can't come together, I just shut my mouth because y'all are showing out on this Asian boycott. Saturday, June the 6th, empty.
It is not racist to boycott Asian businesses when so many Asians are more outraged and vocal about boycotts than an unjust verdict about Cyrus Carmack Belton due to racial profiling. And that says a lot about where people's priorities are at. When the verdict was announced, many people, including myself, were grieving and expressing how disappointed we were. Only a few Asians spoke up, 10 max. Instead of holding space for that grief, many Black people were met with anti-Black comments such as dehumanizing Cyrus by calling him a thug or a monkey, bringing up Stop Asian hate crimes to justify the verdict despite having no connection whatsoever, and perpetuating racist stereotypes of Black people. So if you combine the fact that many people feel justice was not served, Rick Chow is a free man, not enough Asians were speaking up about this verdict, and Black people were receiving an immense amount of anti-Black comments while simply grieving this tragedy, what did you expect the reaction to be? I am pissed off that so many of you lack empathy and humanity, to the point your response is anti-Black rhetoric and ignorance instead of accountability. And our community doesn't consistently call out anti-Blackness. When we don't make our spaces safe for Black people, and when we continue to dogpile Black people while expecting their support whenever it's convenient for us, why are you shocked that Black people are frustrated with our community? A lot of you are more concerned about Black dollars than Black lives, more concerned about businesses than Black children who are harmed, lose their lives, and are failed by the very systems that are supposed to protect them. Boycotting Asian businesses is a consequence of anti-Blackness. It is up to us as a community to confront it instead of pretending it doesn't exist. This is exactly why the Asian community needs to have more conversations about unpacking anti-Blackness and understanding why racial profiling another person of color, especially from the Black community, is dangerous. Because when someone walks into your establishment, your first thought should not be racist stereotypes attached to the color of their skin. Your first thought should be that they are a customer and a human being. And if we can't even do that much, then we shouldn't be surprised when people keep calling out anti-Blackness within our community. So I don't give a rat's ass what any of you have called me these past few months. Self-hating, anti-Asian, pandering to the Black community. I really don't give a fuck. My priorities will always be with humanity, accountability, and justice. If you truly care about solidarity between our communities, you will spend less time complaining about boycott and more time confronting the anti-Blackness to help create this situation in the first place.
All I'm saying is that if you are Asian, before you should even be asking the question about who gets to decide who gets to boycott Asian-owned businesses, we need to be having the conversations in our own spaces about whether or not anti-Black racism needs to be addressed and have those uncomfortable conversations within our communities. Because I have been doing this for years, right? Have you been doing that before you decided to come online and post a video being like, oh, Black Americans are such hypocrites, which they are not. They have a right. Like, they have an absolute right, because we do have rampant anti-Black racism. And before we are willing, like, we need to be willing to take accountability for that before we get to decide whether or not anybody should be boycotted. Also, it's not even our decision who gets to boycott. Our role, right? And everybody has different roles under systemic oppression, and something happens, is what can I do in solidarity instead of looking at this situation as an us versus them problem. If you're still looking at it from the lens of an us versus them problem, then you are on Rick Chow's side. And I know that people can say like, oh, well, you know what, like I have such a diverse spectrum of ideas and I see things differently. But when it comes to systemic oppression in a world that is made to be black and white, then if you are going to look at this boycotting situation as, oh, you shouldn't boycott us, why should we have to pay for the sins of this one guy? Like, that's not like the systemic playbook, right? Like, when one person does harm, or even if it's a few people doing harm, right? Like, if you think about like slavery in the South, even if it was just a few people, a few families running the whole thing, okay? The systemic issue is still the fact that everybody inherited these core belief systems about certain marginalized groups of people, and we are still perpetuating these ideas, right? Like, the issue is that our ideologies are still there, right? And until we're able to address that, why are we even thinking immediately like, oh, actually, I'm going to argue about boycotting, when you should be looking at yourself in a mirror and being like, hey, I realize that I'm contributing, my community is contributing. How have I seen anti-Black racism manifest in Asian spaces? Like, why are these conversations so difficult to have? I don't know. But they need to be had, right? They exist. They exist. People are doing it, some people are not. But when it comes to the question of solidarity, are you for or against? And if you are for, then have the conversations first before you decide who gets to boycott if you are an Asian person.
Man, what? Like, this is crazy.
Oh, yeah. I did it like, and I hadn't been there that long, but I came up here the other day and stood across the street and got some shots.
This is crazy.
Awesome.
Like, how bold could you be?
I know. You wouldn't think it. It's like I didn't even see it. I saw somebody else out here standing up here looking at it. I was walking down that sidewalk over there. I was like,
it's like premeditated, because it's like we just got the verdict from the Cyrus Carmack Belton. There's no way you could have done that.
And that there, you guys, is the prime reason why we need to stand firm in what it is we're doing when it comes to these Asian businesses that are within our communities. This type of shit right here. They don't care. They don't care. They're only in an uproar right now. It's because they see that their shit is about to blow up. They see the money coming out of their community left and right. They can see it happening. They know that they are too dependent on the black dollar for their businesses to thrive, for their businesses to sustain. That's why they're so outraged with knowing that we are doing a ban of their businesses. Because it's not even a boycott. We're not even doing boycott no more. So let's take boycott out of our vocabulary right now. This is a ban. And a ban means we will be no longer engaging with any of their businesses that are within our communities. Any of them. This is the shit right here that tells us they could care less about anything that's going on in society surrounding their community. Because how do we have a business that feels okay to have such a image on the window of their establishment? On the window of their establishment. Like, this shit is bold as fuck. North Carolina, who owns this business? Who owns this business, North Carolina? We need to know who owns this business.
Drop it in the comments if you know who is the owner of this business. We need to have a conversation. We need to understand what was your intention with this? Because I don't want to hear no shit about it's a joke. It's a play on a movie. I think it's a play on Don't Be a Menace to Society, one of the parodies movies by the Wayans brothers. I believe that's where that comes from. Yeah, y'all don't get to play with us like that. None of y'all get to play with us like that. See, y'all have gotten too comfortable. And we've allowed y'all to get too comfortable. We've allowed y'all to get too comfortable thinking that y'all can play with us because we put it in our music. We put certain things in our music. The imagery that we depict in movies, etc. Y'all think because y'all can consume it, that y'all can cosplay and act like you about that life. Yeah, y'all, even as a Black community, we need to be careful at the type of imagery that we're putting out here. Because then we encounter bullshit like this, and they're going to easily have a way out or a excuse. They're going to be excused. Their apology is going to be riddled with, I had a lapse in judgment. I've consumed this type of, I've supported the Black community. I've seen this movie. I've seen that movie. I've purchased the music. I paid to go to concerts. Because we let them in too freely. We let them into our spaces too freely. That this is the type of thanks that we get. A fucking slap in the face. This is wild. This is insane. If you're in North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina to be exact, who owns this business? Drop it in the comments if y'all are familiar with this business from the Greensboro, North Carolina area. And when did that signage go up? When did that imagery go up on that window? Because based off of that video, it's come up recently. And to know what is going on in their neighboring state, right above them in South Carolina, right below them in South Carolina, you knew exactly what you were doing when you put that shit on that window. Drop in the comments, y'all, and let's talk about it. Because we need to know who the owner is of this business and when that shit went up in that window. Let's talk about it.
This crackerjack right here, he was talking to y'all. He wasn't talking to me.
He wasn't talking to me either. When you need to wash your clothes, Black owned. When you need to wipe your ass, Black owned. When you need to throw your shit away, Black owned. This is Freedom Paper Company. You need a purse, Black owned. You need some candles, Black owned. Black owned. Refresh your scalp oil, Black owned. Black owned. Body oil, Black owned. Jewelry, Black owned. Room spray, Black owned. Wash your ass again, Black owned. Body butter, Black owned. Deodorant, Black owned. Soap, Black owned. When you want to cook, seasonings, Black owned. Hey, my spiritual sisters, here are my oracle cards, Black owned. Hair moisturizer, Black owned. Conditioner, Black owned. Edge control, Black owned. Bedroom candy, Black owned. Shower net, Black owned. I don't know if this is Black owned, but I bought it from a Black woman. Even my dresses, Black owned. Black owned.
Today, we will discuss the boycott movement that a segment of the Black community has launched against Asian-owned businesses in their neighborhoods. The movement stems from a perception that these businesses benefit from the purchasing power of the Black community, but do not genuinely stand with or support that community when support is needed. What is particularly noteworthy is the response from some members of the Asian community to these calls for a boycott. Many have displayed an attitude that differs from what the public often expects to see. Rather than focusing on the concerns being raised by the Black community, much of their attention has been directed toward the boycott itself. The businesses being discussed are primarily located in neighborhoods with large Black populations. Many people believe that some business owners are interested mainly in the revenue generated by black customers and are not genuinely committed to giving back to the communities in which they operate. In recent years, numerous complaints have emerged regarding the treatment of black customers. After these stories spread widely on social media, many people within the black community came to the conclusion that they would no longer patronize these establishments. As news of the boycott spread, some members of the Asian community responded by saying that people are free to choose where they spend their money. However, what many found interesting was that when black consumers actually made that choice, some voices began arguing that they should not do so. There appears to be a double standard. When other groups choose not to shop at certain businesses, it is viewed as a matter of personal choice. Yet when black people make a similar decision, many criticize or oppose it. In reality, many black individuals have stated that they will no longer return to certain nail salons or other businesses. Based on what has been shared online, numerous establishments have reportedly experienced significant declines in customer traffic. Videos and images circulating in recent months appear to illustrate this quite clearly. From this situation, the black community may also draw an important lesson about self-determination and economic independence. There are many black individuals who possess skills in nail care, beauty services, and other service-based professions. They have the ability to learn their trade, open their own businesses, and build brands of their own. Likewise, in the fields of hair care and beauty, the black community has long been home to considerable talent. As a result, many people hope to see an increasing number of black-owned businesses emerge and thrive. No one wants to continue seeing videos in which someone asks questions such as, "If you do not come to our stores, where will you go?" or "Where will you buy your food?" Many people find such questions dismissive and disrespectful. The reality is that the black community is fully capable of meeting its own needs. It has talented chefs, quality restaurants, and countless local businesses that deserve support. Therefore, many believe that the idea that black people must depend on any other business community is a notion that needs to change. Black entrepreneurs are fully capable of building successful businesses of their own. They possess the skills, experience, and potential to succeed in any field they choose, whether in services, retail, beauty, or any other industry. Talent and management ability are not qualities that belong exclusively to any single community. Achieving that level of self-sufficiency undoubtedly requires significant effort, perseverance, and hard work. However, many believe that this is the path toward ending the feelings of being overlooked or disrespected that they have faced for a long time. Many people feel disappointed when they hear suggestions that if certain stores were to close, black consumers would have nowhere left to shop or obtain services. In reality, that is simply not the case. There are still many black-owned businesses operating within the community. There are nail technicians, hairstylists, food entrepreneurs, and professionals in many other industries. Supporting them carries not only economic significance, but also helps strengthen the community as a whole. When people choose to support local businesses, resources remain within the community, creating additional employment opportunities and encouraging long-term growth. Many people believe this is one of the reasons the boycott movement emerged. After years of feeling that their concerns were not being heard, they decided to send a clear message that their patience had reached its limit. From this perspective, the issue is not merely about commerce or consumer spending. What they seek is respect and a more equitable, mutually beneficial relationship between communities. Some members of the Asian community are currently focused on criticizing the boycott, but many believe it is more important to understand the underlying reasons why the black community made this decision in the first place. Many people appreciate individuals who are willing to engage in honest dialogue and help others understand the experiences that black people have faced over the years. Listening to one another and learning about each other's histories can foster greater empathy. After all, it is difficult to fully understand the feelings of a community if one has never experienced what its members have endured. Even if complete understanding is impossible, people can still learn about that community's history and the challenges it has faced. In doing so, respect can be built on a foundation of understanding rather than prejudice. Many people feel disappointed when they see others dismiss Black concerns as mere complaining. In their view, the issue runs much deeper than that. For many years, Black consumers have spent money at and supported businesses operating within their communities. They have used their services, dined in their restaurants, and contributed to their growth and success. However, many believe that this support has not always been reciprocated with an equivalent level of respect or support in return. Even so, what most people want is not conflict. They want to see Black and Asian communities living together harmoniously, supporting one another, and building positive relationships. Confrontation between the two communities benefits no one. Cooperation, mutual understanding, and shared growth are far more meaningful and constructive. Many believe that this is the direction society should strive toward. However, from the perspective of those who support the boycott, this decision stems from a feeling that they have tried for too long without receiving a comparable response. They argue that they have supported these businesses for many years, dating back to when the first stores opened in their neighborhoods. They have eaten at the restaurants, used the services, and contributed to the growth of those businesses. Yet many now feel that the time has come to make a different choice. That is why they want Asian communities to understand that this decision did not arise randomly. It is the result of emotions and experiences that have accumulated over a long period of time. Nevertheless, regardless of the disagreements that may exist, the ultimate goal should still be peace, respect, and cooperation among communities. Everyone wants to be treated fairly and with dignity. When both sides make a genuine effort to move toward that goal, current tensions have a better chance of being resolved. For now, however, this is the course of action that a segment of the Black community has chosen to pursue. What do you think about this issue? What are your views on what is currently taking place? Please share your thoughts in the comments and continue the conversation. Thank you all for watching today's program. We look forward to seeing you again in the next episode.